Alright guys, so with all the recent comments on my videos just saying Luna watches porn and shit like that, I thought I'd bring another little porn-involved story to you guys, so I hope you enjoy this. Doesn't involve me for once this time. Well, it involves me, but doesn't involve me getting extremely embarrassed and roasted and starting a meme in my comment section called Luna watches porn. But anyway, it starts off like this. So I got the opportunity a couple months back to go on a trip with a friend of mine and his cousin, and I've never met his cousin before prior to this. He's like a year younger than I am, and he was fairly cool from what I've heard about him, so I thought it'd be cool to go on this trip with them and, meet him for the first time, hang out with my friend, see a really cool place, and just get out of the house and do something, because I remember around this time I was like super bored, no one was around, so I agreed to go with him. It was like a 2-day trip. We were going to go to this place, stay in a hotel for 2 days, and then drive back, and it was only like a 2-hour drive out to the place that we were going to. So I got dropped off at my buddy's house. His cousin and him were there waiting for me. I said hi to them, hung out at his house for a little bit, had breakfast with his family, and then we set off on this trip, right? And on the drive over there, his cousin was actually really, really cool. I was talking to him, getting to know him. Pretty cool kid, right? And after the drive was over, we arrived at the hotel, checked in, went to our room, and we're sitting up there, right? And my friend's cousin pulls this thing out of his bag, and it's like a tiny Bluetooth speaker, and he starts playing music through it. He's like, yeah, I brought this up just if we got bored, want to listen to some music or something, bump it in the room. I was like, oh, good idea, dude. And he's just playing music, and it was pretty fucking loud for a little Bluetooth speaker. Like, it was pretty little, but the sound that shit could make was loud as fuck. But we're sitting in this hotel room just listening to music and talking, and my friend asked me if I wanted to go out for a walk with him around the hotel, because we didn't really see any of it. Like, we walked in and went to our room immediately. We didn't really see the rest of the hotel. I guess it had like a bunch of stuff in it. So I agreed to go out on the walk with him, and so did this kid's cousin. So we all left the room and we're walking around this hotel, just like looking at the pool. There was like vending machines by the lobby, and we were just kind of looking around. And after getting about halfway through the hotel, my friend's cousin decided to go back to the room because I guess he was getting tired, and we pretty much did see everything we needed to see. We just kept walking at this point just for the fun of it. So my friend's cousin left us and then went back to the room, so it was just me and my friend, right? And we're walking around, literally at this point just going through the hallways of rooms. There was really nothing else to see. We were just bored. So we're walking around, and we pretty much looped the entire place 2 times, right? So it's been a while since this kid's cousin split from us and went back to our room. So me and my friend are like, you know what, we've been walking around for a while. We've seen this place basically twice now. Let's go back to the room, okay? And we start walking down our hallway. We get back to our hallway. We're walking down it. We're getting up to the room, and we start hearing this sound, this like really, really familiar sound, okay? Everyone knows this sound because pretty much everyone watches it. It's porn, okay? You can hear fucking porn. Not in front of the door either. You could hear this porn blaring in the speaker from like 4 doors down, okay? So we could tell that he was literally watching porn, blaring it through a Bluetooth speaker that he brought, and just didn't give a fuck. So me and my friend are laughing our asses off, but at the same time we're like, damn, he's being super, super loud. Like, we're gonna get kicked out of this hotel if he keeps this shit up. So my friend runs up to the door, bangs on it like 4 times, and the porn just stops. Like, it just straight up stops, and you hear his phone like shut off, like the shutter noise. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's safe to go in, right? So I take the card, I swipe it through the door, and I open it. And there's my friend's cousin sitting on one of our beds, just like completely like frozen with his phone in his hand. And my friend's like, what were you doing, dude? He's like, oh, I was just listening to some music. What are you doing? He's like, you had that music really, really loud. Can you turn it down next time? Because like, we're going to get in trouble. I don't want to have like a noise complaint. And my friend's cousin's like, yeah, I won't have it that loud anymore. My bad, man. And my friend's like, all right, dude, whatever. So the rest of the night went on, right? We just kind of put it past us, didn't want to make it awkward and be like, we knew that was porn. You know what I mean? Like, just make it awkward, because I've had that happen to me, and it's just not a fun thing. So the night went on, the next day came, right? And this day was the whole reason we took the trip. This was the day where we were going to go into the town, sightsee, tour it around, basically shit like that, it's a trip. So we were ready to leave, and my friend's like, all right, you ready, man? And he's like, I don't feel so good. So me and my friend, we're ready to go out, but his cousin just wasn't feeling good. And my friend's like, what's wrong? He's like, oh, I'm sick to my stomach. I have to throw up. And we're like, all right, do you want us to stay? Like, if you don't want us to leave, we'll stay here and make sure you're good. He's like, no, I can handle myself. I'm a big boy. Just go out, go into the town, come back later. I'll be fine. I'm just going to sit this one out. Tomorrow I'll go out with you guys. And we're just like, all right, dude, whatever you say. And we left, right? So we go into the town. We're out there for like 3 hours, okay? And my friend gets this random call from some random number, and he answers it, and they say his name, and it ends up being the hotel that we're staying at, right? So when we get this call, we're freaking out. We think his cousin's in trouble or something, and like that he did something. And they're just like, are you in your room right now? And my friend's like, no, we're in the city. And he's like, yeah, we're hearing noise coming from your room, like a really, really loud noise. And my friend's just like, noise? Like, sir, my cousin's in there alone. He stayed home because he wasn't feeling good. There's no way he could be making that much noise. And the guy's just like, no, we don't think it's a person in there making a lot of noise. It sounds like a really, really loud TV show or something. And we keep calling the room and he's ignoring us, so we just didn't know if it was you or not. We all thought that you left your TV on with something really loud playing and just completely forgot about it. My friend's like, nope, it's my cousin. Give me a sec. I'll be right there. So we start walking as fast as we can back to this hotel because it was a little bit of a walk. And my friend's spam calling his cousin like every single minute he calls him. And he's just not answering. He's just ignoring him. And not like letting it ring ignore. I mean like answer and then hang up immediately ignore. So he was purposely ignoring us. And we finally get back to this hotel, run upstairs, and we can literally see 2 hotel employees sitting in front of our door with basically like their ear up to it. And you could just hear the porn blaring through the door. And I'm like, is this kid seriously fucking doing this right now? Like, is this fucking guy really in there right now, blaring porn through a Bluetooth speaker, even though he had headphones, keep in mind. Like, you can't just use headphones. You can't, like, mute your phone and just watch it without audio. Like, fuck, that's what I'd do. I mean, if I watch porn, that's what I'd do. Anyway, yeah, he just kept blaring porn through this fucking door. Everyone in the hotel probably heard it because it was that loud. And my friend starts banging on the door, right? Like, the hotel employees didn't hit the door at all. They just sat there and listened. And my friend banged the door like 3 times. Once again, you hear it stop. You hear this fucking phone shut off. We give him like a solid minute, and then my friend swipes the card and opens the door. And he's just sitting there on the bed, just like the first time. And we're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, everybody in this hotel can hear you right now. Like, we got a call, like a straight up noise complaint because of you. And he's like, well, I was just listening to music. We're like, dude, no, man, just no. Like, we're fucking lucky because the rest of the stay there, everyone looked at us like complete fucking weirdos because, well, let's face it, like, they all knew it was porn. They just wouldn't tell us over the phone. But when we walked up to our floor and we saw all those employees just sitting there with their ears up to the door listening to just porn being blared through a Bluetooth speaker on full blast, not a good sight. But yeah, everyone there just thought we were fucking weirdos that had a porn addiction. And I think this dude actually had a porn addiction because he literally skipped a day of vacation to sit in the hotel and just blare porn through his Bluetooth speaker and probably beat it behind the door. Couldn't go in the bathroom with his headphones on and be, like, quiet about it. Had to blare it through a Bluetooth speaker, probably piss off all of the neighbors next to us, and then have the hotel employees call us and look at us like weirdos. But I thought this was kind of funny and that you guys would enjoy this because, me being put in awkward situations seems to spark a lot of entertainment from you guys. At least it seems like it with all the fucking Luna Watches porn meme things. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave a like if you did enjoy it. And yeah, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Peace.
I was on the way to your crib, girl. I know you stay in Jersey. Why you lie about where you live? Rarely ever leave Brooklyn. It's your ass that got me here. Got you arching, got you golden, like we bringing back the rib. Oh my, what? I am losing grip on my head. Had to switch it up like Will Smith.
So I think every story that I've ever told on this channel before, this one's gonna hold the record for being the most fucked up and probably the worst thing I've ever witnessed. And yeah, I guess if you enjoy this, leave a like and let's get into this. So before summer ended, I'm hanging out with my friend. Okay, actually, let's go before that. Before summer ended, my friend invites me over. Okay, and I've chilled with this particular kid quite a few times, and he's told me weird shit. He's told me that he loves anime. Okay, first of all, that's what you guys need to know. He loves anime, right? And he told me straight up before this happened that he likes hentai porn. And if you don't know what hentai porn is, it's anime porn. It's porn, but it's like a Japanese cartoon style porn. I don't really know. I haven't watched too much of it because it's just not really my thing, man. But if that's your thing, I mean, that's cool. But he is so open about it, and he used to tell me about it all the time, how that's all he watches, and he's only turned on by hentai. So I was a little weirded out by it, but I wasn't going to judge the kid for it. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that are sexually attracted to, like, fucking cucumbers. I'm not going to hate on them. But I just don't think you should go around being like, yeah, I love anime porn, and I fucking beat it to that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little weird to go up to your friends and say that. So he invites me over. And I asked my mom, I was like, hey, can I go over to this kid's house tonight? And my mom was cool with it. She's like, yeah, just give me an hour to get ready and I'll take you. So I played some Xbox. My mom tells me it's time to go. I jump in the car. I go over there. Now, this kid lives very far away. I mean, he's like a 30-minute drive from me. He's in a whole nother town. So going there is kind of a drive. And yeah, that's why my mom had to get ready. And I texted him. I was like, hey, I'm leaving now. I should be there within the next 45 minutes. And he was like, okay, well, when you get here, just, open the door. Don't even bother knocking. No one's home. Just walk in. So I was like, okay. So I'm sitting there on my phone, just texting people on the internet, and we get up to his house after like 30 minutes of driving, and I get out, I grab my backpack, and I walk in. Now, he has 2 fucking dogs that make shit tons of noise every time anybody enters that house, so I open the door, and his 2 dogs come at me, barking, making shit tons of noise, like, someone's in that house, you know what I mean? If you're upstairs, even in your room with the door shut, playing Xbox, you'll know that someone walked in. So his dogs are barking, and, I give my mom the signal that I got in, so she drives away. So I go up the stairs, I took my shoes off, and I'm not being quiet. Keep in mind, you can hear me coming up the stairs. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. You could feel the vibrations on the floor, like I was walking upstairs. And I go up to his door. After I get up the stairs, his dogs are following me. They're making even more noise than I am because he's got fucking giant dogs. Like, they're so big. And I knock on the door 3 times, and I open the door. And behind that door was a sight that I didn't ever want to fucking see. Something that just left a dent in my mind, kind of like yesterday with the Snapchats. So I open the door, and to my surprise, I see my friend sitting on his bed with his gaming headset on, no pants, fucking nothing on, dude. And he had the volume turned up so loud that you could legitimately hear, like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna try and imitate this, but you could hear the hentai moaning. Like, the little fucking, like, the girls in the porn were moaning. You could hear, like, the hentai noises. And I was just like, oh my god. And the way his bed is set up, he has his bed in the back left corner of his room. So when you open the door, I just made direct eye contact with the kid. And he had his laptop like below his dick, so I didn't see anything, thank fuck. I just saw his goddamn legs. But the minute I saw this happening, I just slammed the door shut and ran downstairs and was just like, oh my god, oh my fuck. And I'm sitting there cringing. I'm just at the bottom of the stairs sitting there on my phone, like trying to just unsee everything that I just saw and unhear the moaning of the fucking anime girls. And I was just like, ugh, dude, like, I don't even want to try and imitate what I was doing, dude, but I was just not feeling well. I was not in the right state of mind. I was a little bit scarred, you could say. And yeah, my friend opens the door and he goes, Austin, it's okay, you can come up. And he starts laughing. He was dying laughing. And I was like, dude, why did you have to have your headset on, man? Couldn't you have like one ear off just so you could hear me coming up and you could prepare for, my arrival? And he starts laughing. He just didn't give a fuck that, I just walked in on him beating his dick to anime porn, to hentai. And I was just like, dude, I don't even know how you find this funny. And he tried to slap me up, tried to give me like a handshake, and I just literally like stepped back. I was like, dude, I cannot shake your hand right now. Just stop. And he's like, no, I washed my hands. I'm like, dude, I don't even care. The image and the sound is still just replaying in my mind, so please. And yeah, the whole rest of that night was pretty fucking awkward. We're still friends, obviously. Honestly, I might make a video with him soon, to be honest, because that'd be really funny to like retell the story with him next to me. Actually, now that I think about it, that wouldn't even be funny. That'd be even more awkward for both of us, probably. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. We've all probably been caught watching porn. Probably all have seen someone watching porn. But the minute you catch someone watching hentai porn, that just sets the bar even higher. So if that's happened to any of you guys, I feel for you. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like, and I'll tell some even more fucked up stories. And yeah, guys, I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace. Hey, what's up, guys? So today's story is one I've been waiting to tell for a while now. So please hit that like button. I'm really excited to tell this story. And I'm going to jump right into it because honestly, it's just crazy. So this story takes place 1 year ago. And I was just hanging out in my room, watching some YouTube videos at the time. It was pretty late at night because I'm always up super late nights. And I get a text from one of my friends who lives down the street. And he goes, hey, man, do you want to hang out? And I'm always awake super late nights, and I have nothing to do. So I was like, sure, man, I'll hang out with you. And he's like, all right, awesome. Come over right now. And I was like, okay, cool, man, on my way. And he lives right down the street. Like, I can walk there in probably like 15 minutes. It's not a big deal, right? So I got up, got ready quickly, grabbed my backpack, walked into my mom's room, told her I'd be back later. I'm going to a friend's. And then I walked out of the house, and I locked the door. And I started walking. And I'd usually get these walks over with pretty fast because I didn't like walking at night and I'd always walk super quick. But every time I had to walk to my friend's house, I had to go under this one bridge. And this bridge is like the bridge that everyone goes to in my town to do graffiti and tagging and just put little pieces of art on it. And some of it's pretty cool, but the cops do not like it at all, and a lot of people get busted there for doing it. And I've actually been caught there before too with some friends who were doing graffiti, and I have stories about it, so go check those out if you want. But anyway, I quickly walked under the bridge, and as I walked by, I looked up and I saw these 3 guys doing graffiti on the bridge. And I didn't think anything of it. It was really late at night. That's usually when people go there to do it because they don't get caught as easy. But I just quickly walk away from them. I get out from the other side under the bridge, and I just keep walking. And all of a sudden, as I walk away from the bridge, I hear footsteps coming up behind me super fast. And I turn around, and I see the same 3 guys that were doing spray paint on the bridge run right by me. Just full speed, run right by me. And behind them is a security car, like a car with orange lights on the top, going after them. And they run into this bike path where cars can't go. And I'm the only one not running, so of course the guy pulls over right next to me, rolls his window down. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing? And I was like, sir, I'm literally not doing anything. I'm just walking to my friend's house. They just ran right by me. I have no idea who those guys are. I have nothing to do with them. He's like, really? I'm security for this area and neighborhood, and I just got a call that there was people vandalizing the bridge. You and your little friends are the only ones out here. And I was like, sir, they aren't my friends. I wasn't vandalizing the bridge. And like, you can check my backpack. I don't have spray paint or anything. And it kind of blew my mind that they had like security. Like, the bridge was right next to a suburb, and I guess this guy would just monitor the whole area and make sure everything was good, including the bridge, because there was just so many people going there and spray painting. But anyway, he gets out of his car, tells me to take my backpack off, and I know I could have been like, nah, you can't search it, but I just told him he could because I really didn't care. Like, there was nothing to hide. I didn't have spray paint on me. And he opens my backpack, looks through it for a second, and then tells me to turn around and put my hands behind my back. And I was like, no, because I'm not going to let some random security guard arrest me. Like, a cop, sure, but a security guard, like, that could be some fat dude that works at Subway part-time who wants to kidnap me and become Jared number 2. I'm good on that. And he's like, turn around. And he reaches for his belt with the pepper spray. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to lose my ability to breathe right now. So I just turn around and I let him handcuff me. And, like, I know this is so wrong. I could have done something about it. But I did not feel like trying to run away and getting pepper sprayed or, like, losing my backpack in the process. So he sits me down on the curb, and then he pulls out of my backpack my old Sharpie marker and holds it in my face and goes, so you weren't vandalizing, huh? And I just kind of laughed at him because it was such a crazy accusation to make at me. And he's like, nothing's funny about this. And I was like, that's an old Sharpie marker from high school. Like, I don't even think it works anymore. And he, like, takes the cap off and he smells it. This man sniffed my Sharpie. It made me so uncomfortable. And he just puts the cap back on. He's like, stand up. And he stands me up and he goes to put me in his car. And I back up. I'm like, no. Like, you need to call, like, an actual cop over here if you want to do this. And I just sit back down on the curb. And he starts trying to pull me back up. And he's like, we work for the police. And I was like, no, you're the golf cart squad. Get away from me. Like, I'm not going to listen to you. Call the actual authorities because I did nothing wrong. And he keeps trying to stand me up. And I was like, dude, get away from me. And I kicked at him because he's, like, literally trying to put his hands on me. And it's just not cool. And at that point, I didn't care if I got pepper sprayed. Like, this guy is weird. He's creeping me out. I felt unsafe. And when I tried to kick my feet at him, he got super mad. And I thought he was going to pepper spray or something. But he didn't. He just took a step back and started screaming at me. He's like, I'm going to call the police. You're vandalizing. You just tried to assault me. And I just yelled back at him. I was like, call my mom if you want someone to come down here and deal with me. He's like, okay, what's your number then? And I give him her number. And I know people are going to comment and be like, really, Luna? You called your mom in? You called your mommy in? My mom is a straight badass. Do not judge me, okay? So this dude calls my mom's phone in the middle of the night and wakes her up. And he goes, yes, hi, ma'am. I work security for so-and-so in this area, and we have your son in handcuffs sitting on the curb. We suspect that he vandalized. And he was saying we and stuff, like it was a police team or something, when in reality it was just one fat Paul Blart in a shitty car with an orange siren on top. And he tells my mom where we are and to come get me and handle this. So she's like, all right, I'll be right there. And I'm just sitting there waiting for my mom to come save me, just hoping she didn't believe this guy over the phone. And I see her car come up because it's right down the street. It only took her a couple minutes to get there. She drives up, pulls over to the side of the road, gets out of her car, and she walks up and just immediately is like, so what's going on? And he goes on to say that he thinks that I was vandalizing the bridge, and that's why he stopped me and put me in handcuffs. My mom's like, did you see my son doing anything to that bridge? And he's like, well, no, not directly, but I saw him walking next to the people that were running away. And my mom just loses it. She's like, so you're telling me you had a vehicle, and people were running away from you, and you stopped the kid that's walking, doing nothing wrong, and harass him? And he's like, well, ma'am, the three gentlemen ran into a bike path where I couldn't get my vehicle into and follow them. And my mom just says, she's like, well, get out of the car and chase them and call authorities, the people that could actually fucking do something. Don't get out of your car and harass my son with no power whatsoever. He's like, ma'am, I'm security for this area. I work for the police. And she's like, oh, you do? What's your badge number? And he's like, well, I'm not a officer. I don't have a badge number. And she's like, yeah, you're a fucking fraud. Take my son out of those handcuffs right now before I call the actual police and get your ass in handcuffs. And he looks at my mom, looks at me, and he just goes, okay. And he walks over, takes the handcuffs off, and completely like pussies out of the whole power act he had going on and bows down to my mom. He's like, I'm sorry this happened. Like, I shouldn't have falsely accused your son like that. He really did have nothing incriminating on him, and he was probably telling the truth. I'm sorry. And she's like, you're damn right. And she takes his phone number down, gets his license plate number. She also got like the name of the security corporation / neighborhood watch thing he worked for, and just basically got a bunch of his info to know more about him. And she just goes, next time chase after the actual people doing something wrong, not my son who was just trying to go to a friend's house. He takes this route all the time to go to a friend's house. Don't bother him again. And he's like, nope, I won't. He seems like a good kid. And he's just like, I'm sorry. And he like shook my hand and he just gets into his car and he drives away with his little orange siren turned off because he is no longer powerful. And I'm just like lost for words. Like my mom just came through and made this guy shit his pants. Like straight up, he got like a live sex change while talking to my mom. Like he straight just pussied out. And yeah, he drove away. I got my mom's car. I told her, thank you for saving me. And she's like, yeah, no problem. That's ridiculous. He even did what he did to you. Like, you're not a criminal. And I was like, I'm being honest. Like, I really didn't have anything to do with those people. She's like, I know. And I was like, thank you. And yeah, my mom just basically came in clutch. She then drove me to my friend's house. I got out. My friend was there waiting for me. I told him the whole story and he lost it. He was laughing so hard. He's like, "That security guard by the bridge got you?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know about him?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's like the neighborhood watch guy. They hired him 2 months ago to watch the neighborhood right next to the bridge. And he's always at the bridge because there's people there smoking and doing graffiti and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, he tried to screw with me." At one point, I thought he was literally going to pepper spray me. And he's like, "What? I dare some fat Paul Blart looking motherfucker to try and pepper spray you or me while we're together. I will literally spray it up his ass and make his shit burn for the next 2 weeks." And I was like, okay, dude, chill out. There's no need to get that graphic with it. He's like, "Nah, for real though, that's ridiculous." And my mom was just laughing at his joke. And we just kind of hung out for a little bit. My mom ended up going back home to go back to sleep because she was tired. And I said sorry to her. Still so grateful that my mom has saved me from so many situations. Like, she's just such an awesome person. Shout out to you, Mom. But like, for real, just straight badass my mom is sometimes. Call me a nerd, call me a mama's boy, but for real, like, she is the coolest. But that's pretty much the end of the story. I just hung out at my friend's house and watched some YouTube videos. After that, though, after like a week or two, I went back to my friend's house and I took that same route pretty late at night, and I saw him again, and he just waved at me. Every time I'd go to my friend's house after this, he would just wave at me. And now I'm pretty sure he's just gone completely. I think he works security in some other area, because every time I drive by that bridge with my friends, I never see any security or anything like that. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the story. Moral of the story is, don't walk around at night alone. Not a good idea. Don't be afraid to be a mama's boy once in a while in any situation. And just be careful, guys. Look out for yourselves. Don't do anything stupid like me. But yeah, guys, by the time this video goes up, I'll be live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Luna. Link is in the description if you guys want to come hang out. I'll be live for a while. And yeah, streams are super fun. They're super lit. Come check those out. Also, guys, I know this is going to sound super weird to hear coming from me. I'm going to start daily vlogging on my second channel, or at least try to daily vlog. I know for a fact they'll be at least weekly. So go check out my second channel, top link in the description. Subscribe to that if you want to see more vlogs from me, because I'm going to be vlogging a lot. And I already have some pretty lit stuff recorded that I'll be posting there soon. And yeah, guys, that's basically it. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Would really appreciate it. Leave your stories in the comments down below. See you guys all tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah. Controversy, I should worry, but I don't. That's not my girl, I'm not her man, that's just my joint. I hope you're keeping score, cause I've been running point. Very Adam Vinatieri, I don't punt. Gotta watch out when I stun. On the contrary, I do what I want. Look out for the fam, especially my mom, yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today I'm telling you guys a high school story time. The story takes place back in high school. I hope you enjoy this. Leave a like if you do. It's pretty fucking... It was not a fun time for me, to say the least, okay? But it ended kind of good. Kind of bad, kind of good. Okay. So the story takes place back in high school. I was actually in 10th grade, and there was this girl who I never really liked that much, just because she had this attitude towards everyone. And I don't not like a lot of people, if that makes sense. I'm saying like a lot. But I don't not like a lot of people. But she always had an attitude towards me for no reason. Like, I remember my first day of high school, I couldn't find a class. And I was like, "Hey, do you know where this class is?" And she's like, "No, I don't know. And I don't know you, so please leave me alone." And I was just like, "All right, my bad." Like, shit. Like, that's so rude to say to somebody. Like, all she had to say was like, "No, I don't know where it is. Sorry." And like, she could have just walked away and I would have never bothered her again. But no. So anyway, I didn't really like her from day one. And this day in particular, I walked into school. I was tired as fuck, just kind of already having a bad day. I was really tired and I was behind on homework like always and just not having a good day. And I accidentally bumped into her boyfriend walking in the hallway while she was with him. And I was like, "Yo, my bad." And he's like, "Oh, it's all good." And then his fucking girlfriend, aka the mean girl, she's like, "Yeah, watch where you're going. Don't hit my boyfriend." And I just looked at her and I was like, "It was an accident, clearly." And she's like, "Well, leave him alone." I was like, I wasn't not leaving him alone. And she's like, "All right, good, then keep going, keep walking." I was like, "Okay, you have a good one." And she just whispers under her breath, "Asshole." And I turn around, I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "I didn't say anything." I go, "Yeah, you did. You just called me an asshole." And she goes, "Oh, well, if the shoe fits." And I got so mad. I just couldn't hold it in anymore. I was like, "All right, whatever, go fuck yourself." And I turn around and start walking away. And I hear her boyfriend go, "Hey, the fuck you just say to my girl, bro? The fuck you just say?" And I kept walking. She's like, "Dude, fuck this dude. I'm not even going to entertain him." Like, they're both ridiculous. So I kept walking, and he kept going, yeah, fuck you, keep walking, keep walking. Like, he just kept trying to taunt me, kept going and going. And I didn't even get that mad at him because, like, you know, it's his girlfriend. He's going to blindly defend her no matter what. So I didn't even, like, really care that he was saying that shit to me. I was just more mad about me getting blamed for an accident. You know what I mean? Like, I did that on purpose. I never would. So I ignored them both, and I walked to my first class, and I just pretty much went about my day. And about third period came around, and I went to my locker to grab a folder, and I opened my locker. And on the top shelf of my locker, I saw something I thought I would never see, like, ever. And I was like, no, that's not what I think it is. Like, that's fucking disgusting. And I don't even know how to, like, it's so gross to describe, but there was a condom just chilling there on the top shelf. Just chilling there, opened, with no packaging around it. So, like, I didn't even want to touch it. It was probably used. I still don't know to this day. I think it was, but I was so fucking pissed, and I immediately knew who to blame. I knew it was those motherfuckers. Either the girl or the boy did it. So I slammed my locker, didn't even try to take it out of my locker because I didn't have any gloves or anything to touch it with or pick it up with. So I went back to my class and I waited till the bell rang. And when the bell rang, I went over to their locker and they were both just standing there. And I walked up to them and I look at both of them and I go, so did one of you put a fucking condom in my locker? A used looking condom? And her boyfriend goes, one of us? No, both of us did it. And I go, fuck you both. And he goes, what are you going to do about it? And he gets up in my face. And I was like, all right, dude, cool. I'll see you later. And he's like, exactly, you're bitch made. And I was like, okay, all right, man, whatever. So I walked over to the nearest bathroom, grabbed some paper towel, and then I left the bathroom and went to my locker quickly, and I grabbed the condom and paper towel and wrapped it up. Yeah, I wrapped the condom up. That sounds kind of ironic. But I wrapped the condom up in a paper towel, and I left it in my locker for the rest of the day until the bell rang from the final class. So we were all leaving and going home. So I grabbed the paper towel wrapped up condom, and I wait until I see them at their locker, and I wait from a far distance, and I see him get his things out of his locker, and she was all ready to go, and he puts his hoodie on and his backpack, and he starts walking out of school with her. He's walking her out, and he walks her to her bus, and then after she gets on the bus, he starts walking away from her bus, and he got on the sidewalk with a bunch of other people to walk home. And luckily, he was in a big crowd of people, none of his friends, just random people that were also walking home, so I blended right into the middle of them. And I don't know how no one caught this, but I quickly unwrapped the paper towel condom and I pinch it through the paper towel so most of it is exposed, and I dropped the condom in his hood, and immediately I turned around and like fast walked as quick as I could all the way to my friend's car and got a ride home with him. And I told him exactly what happened that day. He's like, holy fuck, dude, like what if you got caught? Like what if he caught you doing that? I was like, he probably would have tried to fight me on sight, like there's no doubt. So anyway, I pretty much just went about my day after that, and the next morning came along, and I walk into school, and the first person at my locker I see, what do you know, it's fucking him and his girlfriend, and he looks pissed. And he walks up to me, gets right in my face, he goes, all right, so we doing this here or after school? And I was like, doing what? He's like, we're gonna fight. You know what the fuck you did? I was like, what did I do? He goes, bro, I put my hood up, it got in my fucking hair, and I just looked at him, and I started laughing so hard, I was like, I'm sorry, man, but that's just funny as fuck. I don't know what to tell you. He's like, I'm literally about to go upstairs and tell the main office what you fucking did. And I go, oh, you want to play that game? Okay, how about I go upstairs and say, hey, this person and his girlfriend put what seems to be a used condom in my fucking locker. That condom, I don't know if they used it or not, but if they did use it, it could have been on school grounds. Who knows? Because I know for a fact you motherfuckers have probably fucked in the bathroom a few times this year. So why don't I just go tell them? And he's just like, nah, don't fucking do that or you're really going to be in a lot of trouble. I was like, oh yeah, am I going to be in a lot of trouble or what are you going to do about it? Because you sure as hell won't be in school anymore. Like, you're going to get fucking expelled. And he's like, fuck you. And he turned around and just walked away. And I never heard from him again after that. He completely left me alone for the rest of the year. And you know what the funniest part about this whole thing is? His girlfriend was so nice to me after this. Like, every time in the hall, she'd make eye contact with me. She'd like nod her head or something to say hello, or like she'd wave. Like, she was so nice after this because she knew, like, what they did was fucked up. Like, really fucked up. And yeah, he never fucked with me again. She didn't either. And in the end, I guess everything ended okay. Still just a very disgusting thing to ever do. So don't ever do that. Just enjoy the story time and never ever do that in any scenario ever. Never do what they did and never respond like I did. Because yeah, I don't know. It's just gross. And I still don't know to this day if that condom was used or not. I really don't know. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time and found it funny. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Leave your guys' stories in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys all later. Peace. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. Now, in today's story, I'm telling you guys about something that I've never really talked about before. So, I might have mentioned this maybe once or twice, but when I was younger, I always thought I was so cool online. Like, for some reason, when I was like between the age of probably like I'd say 12 and 15, I always wanted to be like some cool like scary hacker nerd online. I thought that was a cool persona to have, like a scary hacker. So I acted like I knew shit, and I would talk shit to people online and be like, "Yeah, don't talk shit to me or I'll hack your account." But I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything deep down, okay? And you know what they'd say? I'd get into some Gears of War game, and my voice was like higher than Wiz Khalifa, and everyone would make fun of me for it. And I'd tell them to shut the fuck up and stop telling me that they had sex with my mom or else I'd hack them. And they'd be like, "Nah, shut up, I still fucked your mom." And then they'd be like, "What are you gonna do about it? You gonna hack me?" And then, of course, I was harmless, and I couldn't hack anybody because I had no idea how. And I wasn't about that life, so I just had to sit there and just be shit-talked. So anyway, now that that's over with, okay, on to the story. Around this period where I thought I was like some cool, spooky hacker, I did something that was really fucking stupid when I was like 14, okay? So in middle school, in English class for like 2 weeks, we were up in the library working on a project, and all the project is after we read a book, we had to like try and put ourselves in the character's shoes and like make a slideshow about what we would do if we were that character. So I was up there, and of course, being me, I was dicking around completely and barely working on it. Like, I remember specifically at one point throughout the week, my teacher would walk by and like do a scan of everyone's computer screens, like look at everyone's screen and make sure they're on task. And I waited until she got close to me, and I opened up Microsoft PowerPoint really quick, or whatever the fuck it's called, to make slideshows. And I just pasted the word mayonnaise like 400 times. That way she'd think I was like writing a bunch of stuff and doing my project. And yeah, she walked by and she was like, "Good job, Austin, keep going." And it's just like, how fucking bad are you at your job? Like, literally, you're an English teacher and you didn't even read. So, yeah, I did that a couple times actually in other classes too, and usually it would always work. But anyway, she walked by and thought I was doing my project, and right after she walked away, I just went back to looking on Twitter and just looking at random memes and stuff on the internet, being an idiot. And towards the end of the class, I ended up getting up and going to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom, took way longer than I needed to because I just didn't want to be in class. And I got back to the library right as the bell was ringing, so people were leaving. So I walk over to my computer, I log it off, I close everything out, and I grab my backpack, and I just basically get all my stuff. And I realize like almost everyone's pretty much gone, including the teacher, and she left her computer logged on. Now, the way our computers were set up was students got a student account to sign into, and teachers and staff and stuff got an admin account. And with an admin account, you can access any website you want that's blocked by the school, usually for students. You can look at other students' projects and stuff like that. And basically, you could just do whatever the fuck you wanted. So I go over to her computer because pretty much everyone's gone at this point, besides like two of my friends. And they start laughing because they see me sit down and they know I'm up to something. And I'm like, "Hold on, be quiet." And I open her files and I click on the student drive. And the student drive is where everything is. It's basically just files on files of people's projects and stuff like that that they work on the computers. So I open up our classroom's file, and I was looking at all the folders with students' names on it. And it's pretty much all their projects and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a hacker. I'm going to go into all their stuff and put hacked by a fake name and put funny photos all over their projects. So I did. My dumbass literally went through every single student's PowerPoint that we were working on in our class, including my own, even though I had like nothing done. And I put on every single project a bunch of stupid memes, like the most unfunny things you could think of. For example, I put the fucking Doge on people's projects. Like, I just plastered the Doge photo all over it. Yeah, the Doge. You know that meme from like 6 years ago that wasn't really that funny at all? It was just a dog smiling. Don't get me wrong, that dog is dope as shit. But like, that just goes to show how immature I was back then. I thought it was funny to put hacked and put Doges all over people's projects. Yeah, Doge memes. That was my brain when I was 14. But yeah, and that's not even the worst part. I couldn't think of a good fake name to use, like a good hacker name. So I put hacked by the Muffin Man on every single one. The fucking Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. Like, that's not even funny or like cool. How does that sound badass? Yeah, I'm the Muffin Man, bro. I hack people. Yeah, I hack people. I'm the Muffin Man. Like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But I do this and all my friends are laughing their asses off and I'm laughing. And I go through everyone's PowerPoint and do it. And I log off. And I just think I'm so cool because I'm like, yeah, tomorrow when we come in and everyone's projects get opened, they're all going to be so confused, including the teacher, because the teacher had like a sample project she was using that she made herself, and I did that one too. So the next day when she'd have to pull up her like example onto the big TV in the library, everyone would see the Doge and the Hacked by the Muffin Man thing. And I just thought I was so funny, right? And like so cool. Even though I literally did no hacking whatsoever. Like my teacher literally just left on her computer and I went over to it and opened up people's projects. So yeah, after this, I logged off her computer and I left and went to my next class. And then I just went on with my day. Then the next day came along, and this is where it gets interesting. I go to the class, English, and I get in first because I want to see everyone's reaction. So I was the first person in the classroom besides my teacher. And that already looks suspicious enough. Like I was never first to class. I was always either last or like second to last. So I sit down at my station and I log on and I just start looking at Twitter. And I'm waiting for people to come in. And my teacher was just situating some papers on the front desk and not even logged onto the computer yet, so she didn't even know yet. And then everyone starts coming in, and she gets on her computer and logs on and pulls up like the example project or whatever and drags it onto the front big TV thing. And immediately I just see the giant Doge head with words under it written in Times New Roman font that says, "Hacked by the Muffin Man." And she looks so confused and just doesn't say anything. And people start logging on their computers and they're all seeing it too. And they're all just like, what? Like, what is this on my project? Like, who's the Muffin Man? Why is there a Doge on my front screen? And my teacher deletes the Doge photo off her example project and she deletes the text and she leaves it up on the screen how it was before. And she yells out to the class. She's like, guys, this isn't funny. Did any of you guys do this? And no one says anything. And I'm just sitting there with that smirk on my face. I'm like, yeah, I'm so badass. Like, totally trolled her. And then she just goes, well, okay, maybe none of you did do it, but we'll figure it out. Just continue working on your projects, delete anything out of the ordinary that wasn't there before. And yeah, everyone just continues on their projects and deletes the photos of the Doges and the text, and everything was pretty much back to normal. And I'm just sitting there smirking like, yeah, I totally showed them. Like, I'm so badass. That was so cool. And my friends were laughing too. But deep down, I kind of knew, like, I'm a total fucking dork for that. Like, that was not funny at all. I literally put some corny ass meme on people's projects and they just deleted it with one hit of the key and no one even cared. But this story picks up, don't worry. I know some of you might be sitting there thinking like, what is this story? Like, this isn't even funny, dude. Come on, like, Doge memes? Oh, give it a minute. Just wait. It gets better. So, after this, the day went on pretty normal. I ended up going home, played some Xbox, fell asleep early. And then the next day came along, okay? And when I walked into school, I went to my first period. And I sat down, and immediately I hear the announcements come on and call me up to the office. And I knew I was fucked. I was like, great. I got caught. There's no way they're calling me up to the office for anything other than catching me for messing with people's projects the other day. And I was like, oh no, like, oh no. So I go up there to the office. I walk in, I check in, and I'm waiting. And my principal comes out, and she's like, hey, Austin, come into my office. And I follow her in, and I see my teacher there, my English teacher. And my principal sits down, and they're both just looking at me. And I'm like, okay, yep, I'm fucked. Like, I'm fucked. Now I really know I'm fucked. So I sit down, and my teacher looks at me, and she's like, Austin, what'd you do yesterday? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, no, come on, don't play dumb. Like, we know what you did. We looked over the library security cameras today, and we saw you go in there and go on my computer and alter students' projects. I was like, okay, look, I'm sorry. I thought it'd be a funny joke. It wasn't. I'm sorry. And the principal was just like, yeah, well, we don't take that lightly here. So you have 2 days of ISS now. And what ISS is just in-school suspension. So for the next 2 days, I'd have to go to a room and just sit there the whole day until the bell rang. So from start to finish, I just have to sit in detention, basically. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fair. And she's like, all right, go there now. So I went and started my first day. And it was the most unlucky fucking thing in my life. Because not only did I just try and, like, be some fucking cool guy that pulled a prank on all the students, and it failed. But then something else happened. It was like the unluckiest day of my life. So I go to the ISS room after this, and the ISS room is literally just like straight up just all the bad kids in one room with one security guard. And like obviously some people in there aren't bad, but like a lot of the times the kids that are in ISS are kids that get like into fights or caught smoking, you know, things that are worth getting put in suspension for. But for me, I honestly thought they went a little too hard. I thought maybe 1 day would be better, but 2. But whatever, I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it. So I went to ISS, I sit down in the back of the room, and these 2 kids get walked in right after me that were just caught in the bathroom about to fight. And I don't know how they caught them. I guess they like went in there with a bunch of people, and one of the staff members saw it, and they were suspicious because a bunch of people were going into one bathroom, and they called security. So these two kids come in right next to each other who were just about to fight each other. So clearly they don't like each other. So I don't know why my school thought it was a good idea to put them in the same fucking room. But they sit them down in desks that are almost right next to each other. And the whole like first hour of being there, they're staring at each other. Like they're just staring at each other and mouthing like words to each other that don't seem nice. And I'm just like, oh, is there about to be a fight? Like, is there really about to be a fight? Like, I really hope so, because this room is boring as fuck. And sure enough, after like an hour and a half, my wish was fucking granted. One of the kids yelled out at the other one, was like, yo, stop fucking staring at me. And the dude he said that to stood up and was just like, I'm staring at you because I can't figure out why you're so fucking ugly. And then the other dude stands up and goes to walk over to him and get in his face. And the security guard tries to stand up and stop this. And of course, the one security guard that's in the room with us to like make sure everything's under control is like a 5-foot old lady who's only good for patrolling the hallways and handing out hall passes. So you damn well know if two teenage boys get into a fight, this lady is not going to be able to stop it. So they get in each other's faces and they start screaming at each other and talking shit and starting to push each other. And the lady goes over there and tries to stop it, but because she's like way shorter than them and just like not as strong, she can't really like split them up. And then sure enough, one of them swings and the fight just breaks out and they start beating on each other. And the lady's trying to stop it, but it's just failing and she can't stop it. So I stand up and I'm like, all right, what the fuck? Like, what is going on right now? And this girl that was in ISS with me, she stood up too and she's like, I'm out of here. And she opens the door and walks out just in the middle of everything going on. And I'm like, wow, she really just dipped on this whole situation. So I go to run over to the door and open it and like yell out for help, for like a teacher to come help and try and stop this. And as I was going over to the door, one of the guys ran at the other one and tried to tackle him. And they both were like kind of hugging each other and like moving really quick. And they bumped into me and fucking sent me flying down over a chair. And it hurt so bad. Like, imagine getting your shins smashed into a chair and then tripping over the chair and landing on your shoulder. It hurt so fucking bad. And I'm like, dude. And I got up and I fucking threw a chair at one of them because I was so pissed. And I was just like, dude, fuck these kids. So I walked out of the room and I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I do not deserve to be in a room with that kind of shit going on. But of course, I'm not going to ditch that lady in there, that security guard that was dealing with that. Like, I felt bad for her still. So I yelled out for some help. I got a teacher across the hallway to come and help. And he went in there and helped break up the fight. And he was like an actual, like, pretty big dude. And he was fairly young. And he was able to stop that shit real quick and got in the middle of them. But after that, I didn't return. I was like, fuck that. The security guard was like, hey, sir, you have to come back in here. Like, you're an ISS. And I was like, no. Like, fuck that. She's like, you can't just leave. And I was like, no, I'm leaving. And she's like, you can't. And I was like, no, watch me. And I went downstairs and I went out one of the front doors. I was like, I'm not dealing with that. Like, call my parents, call whoever you want, tell them what I did. Like, I don't fucking care. That is not cool. I'm not about to sit in a room where motherfuckers are beating on each other and sending me over chairs and shit. Like, I'm not doing it. So anyway, I walked out of school, went to this place across the street, got a burger, ate lunch. And sure enough, my mom calls me and she starts freaking out, wondering where I am. She told me that the school called her and told her that I left school. And they also called her earlier in the day and told her that I was suspended for what I did. So this was like the second call of the day she got from them. So she was really mad at me. And I pretty much just told her everything that happened. I was like, yeah, I was in the suspension room. A fight broke out between these two guys and I got knocked over in the middle of it. And I got angry and I left. And she's like, all right, I'll be right there. And she drove over to where I was getting food. She picked me up and then brought me right back to the school and sat down in the principal's office with me and my principal and had a meeting with us. And she wanted to know everything that happened. So my principal told her, she's like, yeah, he got in trouble. We put him in ISS. And while he was there, a fight broke out and we took care of it. Our security had it very under control. And then your son decided to be careless and just throw a chair and add to the situation and then storm out. And I was like, okay, look. You're lying right now, because first of all, you didn't have it under control. You had a lady in there who was not fit for the situation at all. She could not stop this fight, and you had two muscular dudes fighting who were much more powerful than her. So you didn't have it under control. And also, why would you put two dudes who don't like each other and we're going to fight in the first place in the same room? Like, how brain dead is whoever made that decision? And she's like, I don't really like your attitude right now. And I was like, I don't care. I don't like the fact that you guys got me hurt. And I don't like that you're lying right now because you completely left out the part of the story where the guy ran at the other guy and tried to knock him over and I got knocked over. So now please explain to my mom that part of the story that you left out. And she's like, okay, look, Austin did get knocked over, but he seems okay. And it still wasn't right of him to throw the chair. And my mom went like full teacher on these people because my mom used to be like a tutor and like a teacher for the schools. So like she knows how the system works and like how everything should run. And she's like, yeah, you're right. My son throwing the chair is very immature and I don't agree with that at all. But this could have all been avoided. Like, why would you put two students who were fighting in the same room and think that would fix it, especially in an understaffed room. Like, that's highly unprofessional, and I blame you guys for all this happening. And the principal just does the whole, I understand your frustration, but at the end of the day, all the students broke rules, and they will all be punished for it. And my mom's like, okay, what do you have in mind? And she's like, I think your son should have 2 more days of suspension. In school, that is. And my mom's just like, how about you make it out of school instead? And the principal's like, what do you mean? And she's like, because I'm not going to take my son in to have him sit in a room again where he feels not safe and where he's learning practically nothing. Like, if you're going to put kids in a room for the whole 6-hour day to punish them, teach them things while you're at it. This is a school. Do your jobs. If you're going to make my son sit in a room for 6 hours and do nothing and be at risk of another fight breaking out, I'd rather have him at home playing his video games or something. And that's when my face lit up. I was like, oh, I'll stay home and play video games. Like, fuck yeah. Like, I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. And the principal was just like so lost for words. And she's just like, okay, I think we could just do 1 day. And then my mom's like, no, like either out of school or let him just go back to classes because I'm not going to have him sit here and waste his time. And my principal was just like, okay, fine. 1 day out of school suspension will be Austin's punishment. And my mom's like, great. That's perfect. And the meeting was pretty much over. We went home. The next day I didn't go to school because I was suspended. And I stayed home the whole day playing Halo 3 custom games. And it was a lot of fun. And it was really cool of my mom to understand that, like, it was a pretty shitty situation for me. Like, yeah, it was wrong of me to get angry and, like, throw a chair out of anger. But, like, it's also pretty bullshit that I got, like, purposely thrown into the equation because, like, these dudes just have no aware of their surroundings and decided to start fighting in the middle of the classroom. But that's pretty much the end of the story. A very, very long story. This might be one of my longest story videos on this channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a like on this video if you guys enjoyed this story and you want longer story videos. And yeah, guys, I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
Hey, this that 1-800, I don't give a fuck about you. Please get off my line, there is no one to talk to. I'm doing just fine, I'll have my people call you. Hold up, never mind, we gon' press that dial. Used to hold my tongue, nah, French kiss bitches and I know they sprung. T-Pain with the dreads and the cursing dunce. I mean, she borderline racist, but her head on point, I can't help it, she like niggas.
So you know how in yesterday's video I said I was really sick and I sounded like I had, dicks up my nose? I sound like I have a straight python penis up my nose right now, so I'm really sorry if my sick voice annoys you at all through this video. I think it'll get better soon. This fucking sucks. And I don't like to start my videos by plugging stuff, but I made a new Snapchat and I would really appreciate it if you guys went and added that. Like, I post so much stuff on Snapchat throughout my day, like, if you guys ever want to see what I'm up to. Also, I'm going to be posting a secret snap on there right now that you can only see if you add me, obviously. So, if you want to be a part of the special Snapchat, add that right now. My new Snapchat name is I'm Austin Luna. I'll put it up on the screen for you guys. Yeah, add that right now if you want to see it. Also, I'm getting pretty close to 100K on Instagram, so if you want to follow me on there too, it's only Luna. Okay, enough with the plugging, okay? I have a story for you guys today. A pretty funny one, I think. So if you guys enjoy this at any point, please leave a like on the video. Let's get into this. So this story takes place when I was in 8th grade, so I was in middle school. And this story is about 2 teachers, okay? So usually teachers don't date each other, and when they do, they usually keep it like secret or they don't show their students that they're dating. Because it'd be pretty weird if you were a teacher to show your class of however many students you have that you're dating somebody. Like, there's really no point in doing that. It's kind of weird. And some jobs, whether it's a teacher or wherever you work, don't allow you to date other workers that you're working with. But I don't really know how that all works. But I had these 2 teachers in middle school, okay? And that's where this all starts. So let's just give these teachers names, okay? We'll call the male teacher Mr. Marcus, and we'll call the female teacher Miss Jones. I don't really know where I came up with those names, but that's what they're called. Now, Miss Jones was my math teacher. Mr. Marcus was my history or social studies teacher, whatever you want to call it. I think we called it social studies in middle school. But they were both fairly cool. Miss Jones would sometimes just transform into a Bitchosaurus Rex and be a little bit of a bitch, but for the most part, she was cool. Now, the thing about Miss Jones is she wasn't only a math teacher. She also would come into other classrooms for different subjects and be like the extra help teacher. She would walk around the room and see if anyone needed extra help on their work, and she would sit down with you and help you on your work. So a lot of the time in history, I would be in there doing my work, and she would come in and help people with their work, and I would always need help because I'd either not understand something or I missed something, and she'd come over and help me out. But every time she'd come in the room, into the history room where Mr. Marcus was, she would smile at him, and she'd just be so much happier in history class. And she wouldn't just walk in and smile at him like a, hey, nice to see you smile. She would walk in and give him like a, hey, I can't wait for you to come over later and go deep into me like a submarine kind of smile. Okay, to be honest, I really don't think there's a smile that would say that, but she would give him a very nice smile. And every time we'd be watching some sort of educational video on like the big projector thing, the lights would be off and they'd be at his desk and they'd just be like giggling and stuff like that, and she'd just be smiling at him. But to be honest, sometimes friends do that. They just, hang out with each other, they laugh, they talk. So I didn't think too much of it. I did have a little bit of a suspicion that they could be dating, but even if they were, I didn't care. Like, who cares? Good for them. But anyway, a couple months later, I woke up 7 in the morning, went to school, and something happened there on that day that confirmed they had something going on, okay? I went into school, and usually I would have history second period in the mornings, but on this day on my schedule I had it fifth period and I forgot, so I still went and thought it was my second period class. So I went there, and before I opened the door I looked through the window of the door to see if anyone was in there before I opened it, and it was just them two, just the teachers, and they were holding hands, talking and like smiling, and luckily they didn't see me looking through the window. But yeah, when I saw this I immediately knew, like, yeah, they're dating. But also, I knew that, oh, today is the day where I don't have history second period, I have history fifth period. So I went to my actual class that day, which was study hall. And when I was in study hall, I was talking to my friends who I have history class with too. And I was like, yo, I saw them holding hands, like, they're definitely dating. They're like, yeah, no, you didn't, you liar. I was like, well, it's not that big of a deal, but yeah, they're dating. And then a couple weeks go by after this, nothing new really was happening. And I was in history class in the morning, just doing my work. And after history class was over, the bell rings, and I get up, and I actually left the homework they assigned behind on the desk. Not on purpose. I know people are going to comment and be like, you definitely did that on purpose. You just didn't want to do it. I actually forgot. And the next class, when I went to go look for it in my folder, it wasn't there. And I was like, all right, fuck. I'll just go back up there at lunch and just grab it then. So one more class goes by. I had lunch, and at lunch, I went upstairs to go get it. And when I went up to the classroom, all the lights in the classroom were off, and I could obviously still see, though, because there was, daylight, so the windows were there. And I could see into the classroom, and I see Miss Jones sitting on his desk with her legs wrapped around him, and they're just, like, sucking face. They're, like, full-on making out. Luckily, their clothes were on. I don't think they were that dumb where they would just start fucking on the desk. But, like, who knows what they did before this? I don't know. But they're making out, like, just full going at it during lunch break. And I'm just, like, looking through the window. And I just can't believe my eyes. Like, these are two teachers I see all the time just going at it. And immediately I kind of step back because I don't want them to see me peeking through the window. And, of course, when I'm walking backwards away from the window, one of them looks over and she sees me. And I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. So I just start power walking away down the hallway. I'm like, nope, I'm not dealing with this confrontation right now. Like, I do not want them to talk to me about this. So I just quickly walk to the stairs down the hallway, and I go downstairs, down back to the lunchroom, and I get to my table. I'm like, guys, you have no idea what I just witnessed. And they're like, what? I'm like, I went upstairs to get my homework, and I saw Miss Jones and Mr. Marcus just going at it, like just making out on his desk. And of course, at first, my friends didn't believe me. They were like, no fucking way. And I was like, dude, I went up there to get my homework. I looked through the window, and I see her sitting on his desk with her legs wrapped around him, and he's standing there kissing her, making out with her. And then she looked over and saw me through the window, and then I came back down here. And my friend's like, what? You got fucking caught looking? And I was like, I wasn't even trying to look. Like, I literally was just trying to open the door to get my homework, and I looked inside first to see if anyone was in there, and I saw that, and she looked at me. Like, it wasn't me trying to just sit there and creep. And my friend's like, don't lie, you probably liked it. And I was like, dude, fuck off. And he's like, no, come on, don't lie. Like, we all know, Austin, come on. You were standing outside that window watching it with a boner, took out your 3-inch dick, started doing the 2-knuckle shuffle, just loving every second of it. And I was like, all right, first of all, dude, you're fucking weird as shit for imagining that. Second of all, I didn't do that. I walked away. Third of all, you're still fucking weird. And they're all just laughing and roasting me, saying I was staring at it, enjoying it, just being jerks. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And then after lunch, the day went on. Luckily, I didn't have to see any of those teachers because both of their classes are in the first half of the day, and I was already on to my second. And I went home after the school day was over. The next day comes along. I go to school and go to my first class. And then I have my second class where I have to see both of them. And right when I walk in, one of them pulls me aside. It was Mr. Marcus. And he's like, "Hey, Austin." I was like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "I just want to talk to you about yesterday." And I was like, "Yeah, what about it?" He goes, "Did you come to my classroom yesterday during lunch?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did. I was trying to get my homework because I left it behind yesterday. And I wanted to come back for lunch break to try and grab the assignment so I could do it and have it to you by today. But I wasn't able to get it." He's like, "All right, look, I don't know what you saw when you peeked through the window, but me and Miss Jones were spending our lunch break together. And we would just appreciate it if whatever you saw, you didn't repeat to anybody." And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I already kind of felt bad because I told my friends about it. But I think what he meant by it was don't tell, like, the staff of the school and other teachers and stuff like that. And just don't go telling everybody. And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And he goes, "And don't worry about the homework from yesterday. Like, I know you forgot it." I was like, "All right, thanks, man." And from that point on, they treated me like fucking royalty. Both of them. Like, they were both super cool about homework. And, like, whenever I would forget it, they wouldn't care. And she stopped being a bitchosaurus to me. And, like, everything was just awesome. Like, they were just being so nice to me from that point on. And I feel like it's because they didn't want me to tell anybody, which I didn't after that point. Because, like, even if he didn't ask me to not tell anybody, I still wouldn't have told any teachers or anyone like that. Like, it wasn't a big deal to me to begin with. I told my friends what I saw and that I was caught looking because it was kind of awkward and funny. But after that, nobody else heard about it from me or my friends because they honestly didn't care that much either. But yeah, I just kind of thought it was a funny story. Like, I caught my two teachers making out and then they caught me catching them, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's basically the end of the story. Like, I caught my two teachers making out on this desk. They caught me. It was a pretty awkward and funny experience. And to be honest, they were probably some of the coolest teachers I've ever had. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story. Please leave a like on this video if you guys enjoyed the story. Leave your stories in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
Can't find the time, maybe we should quit joking. I can't stay the same, I can't play a game. I am fresh at the tokens. I will follow you to hell and back, but lately I don't know where you're going. It's a different direction. I am sick of finessing, just to get some love for the sake of us. Really, I'm the plug. Really, I'm your drug, but you don't take enough.
So in the past few years, I've met a lot of people that smoke weed, marijuana, the devil's lettuce, whatever else you want to fucking call it. And I'm not gonna lie, I smoked it a lot in early high school and so did a lot of my friends, but my friends literally did it to be cool. Like, they would straight up smoke just to, like, show off and just to smoke. Not to feel good or to be relaxed, but they would just literally use it to show off. And it got to the point where we would, like, joke about it. We would see our friends doing it, we'd kind of laugh at them, and then they would stop because they realized how fucking stupid they look. But we had this one friend, okay, and she was constantly smoking weed. Like, just whenever she could, man, she was trying to get her hands on fucking pot. So we were hanging out with her one day, alright, we went to the fucking beach, and she brought a fucking joint with her, okay, and she lit it up right on the beach, okay, and we have a strict, like, fucking strict-ass group of security that works there. Like, they would just come, mainly just to try and look for people that smoke pot, because people would smoke pot at the beach every single day, and that's mainly what the security was for, just, like, fights and weed. So we saw her do this, and we were like, yo, don't do that, like, you're gonna get caught, we'll all get fucked over for you being stupid, and I know it looks cool, but jeez. Like, I'm not fucking joking, she literally would just smoke weed in public to look cool, not to fucking feel good at all. She would just smoke, half the time I don't think she was even inhaling it, she would just puff on it. So some time went by, and she would still continue to go to the beach and just smoke with us, and we honestly stopped fucking caring, because we were like, you know what, if you get caught, we're just gonna say it was you, I'm not gonna take the fall for you, so it's on you. And she was like, oh, whatever, and she would just continue to smoke. Every single day we went to the beach, she would just fucking bring a blunt. Now the day finally came where this girl got caught, okay, we went to the beach, and she was wearing a legit, oh my god, it was a fucking shirt with a pot leaf on it. Like, just smoking weed wasn't enough in public for this girl. She would literally wear clothes that show she smokes marijuana. Like, she just couldn't keep it a fucking secret. Like, who cares if it's illegal? I gotta tell everyone. That was her mindset. So she finally got caught. A security guard was literally on one of those, like, little fucking ATV things on the beach, and he was a nice kid. He was like a young, probably like a college student, and he saw this and, like, approached us and was like, hey, you guys can't do that here. Like, I don't know who's smoking it or whose it is, but just please don't do that on the beach. Like, I'm gonna give you a warning. I'm not gonna tell, like, the head of security. Just please don't smoke that here. Like, put it out. Put it in your pocket. You could stay here as long as you're not smoking it. And the guy gets on his thing and drives away, okay? And she put it out. It was all good. Now I want to say like 10 to 15 minutes go by, and this girl immediately lights it back up. Just puts it in her mouth and lights it. And I was like, really? That fast? And you're already back to smoking? And she's like, oh, I stay smoking weed. Smoke weed every day. It's the motto. And I was like... This is that kind of person you see on Facebook every day, just sharing like hundreds of those posts that say inhale the good shit, exhale the bad shit, like those kinds of people. This was her. So she starts smoking again, and the kid literally comes back and he's like, hey, like I told you to put that out, can you stop? And she goes, oh fuck, whatever, and she puts it out and literally like throws it into the water at this point. I was like, well, you didn't have to fucking do that, jeez. And the kid's like, alright, thanks, and drives away. Now this girl goes on like a fucking straight up rant, like just straight up freaking out. She's like, oh, the people here are so annoying, they're so fucking stupid, they're uneducated, like weed is good for me, blah blah blah. And I told her, I was like, well, it is illegal here, so that's probably why they don't want you doing it, because it's their property. And she's like, whatever, fuck them, I stay smoking weed every day. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you can do that, I guess, just not here. And she was like, yeah, I'll come back, don't worry. I was like, okay, you do that. So after this happened, she really didn't go to the beach that much because she couldn't smoke there, and like they were not really happy about it. And it wouldn't matter if it was the beach or not. Like, literally anywhere here, if you go there and you smoke a fucking blunt in public, they're most likely gonna yell or call the police on you because it's illegal. So she just didn't understand that. So she went to like other places. There was one park that she used to go to a lot and smoke where there like literally wasn't anyone but kids, which was probably a really, really bad idea on her part, but she didn't give a fuck. She smoked weed every day, right? So after a while, she decided, hey, I'm gonna go back to the beach. I'm gonna give it another chance. And she invited me, a bunch of my other friends, and some of her friends just to come out with her. And I was kind of excited. I was like, hey, I haven't been here in a fucking while. Maybe she's just gonna actually go to the beach this time to chill, not to fucking smoke. And sure enough, she comes over to my house to pick me up with some of her friends, and I get in the car and she's wearing legit like knee-high huff socks, and I was like, oh no, this is not looking good so far. And we get to the beach, and apparently, I don't fucking know why, but her dad is like super strict. I never knew this. I never really met her dad, but her dad knew or found out that she smoked pot, okay? And I guess she snuck out to go to the beach this certain day, so when her friends and shit came to get me with her in the car, her dad fucking followed us. Like, straight up, we were driving to the beach, and I turned around and I realized that the same car has been following us for probably a good mile. And I was like, hey, there's this car that's literally taking every turn that we're taking. And she looked out the back window and was like, oh shit, that's my dad. And I was like, why is your fucking dad following us? Because to be honest, I didn't know this girl's dad, but I figured, hey, as much as this girl smokes weed in public, she must smoke weed at her house, right? Like, they must fucking know. So I said, I was like, is there some reason that he'd be following us? And she's like, oh, I kind of snuck out to come hang out with everyone. And I was like, are you serious? You snuck out of your own house in the middle of the day to smoke weed? And I was like, wait, why did he even ground you in the first place? And she was like, well, he found my weed and he basically just doesn't like me smoking, so he grounded me for a little bit. And I was like, so you sneak out like the day after it happens? She's like, yeah, I didn't think he would fucking follow us. And I was like, great. So here we are in the fucking car, driving, trying to lose a middle-aged man on our tail. And shit, for someone's father, he was fucking driving fast. He was on our tail, and like every fucking turn we took, he wasn't stopping. I remember specifically going through a yellow light, and right when it turned red, he was behind it, and he just fucking ran through it. He just needed to keep up with us and, you know, get his daughter. So we're still trying to lose this guy, okay? My friend's fucking driving. We're just trying to drive as respectively as possible while losing a fucking crazy guy behind us. So, you know, we're taking turns that don't even really make sense, to be honest. We're just trying to get away from this guy. And he's fucking taking all of them, man. He's just a pro. And it gets to the point where we're like, okay, well, we're not gonna fucking lose this guy. He's clearly not gonna give up. So our plan was, you know what, we're gonna drive to the fucking beach. We're gonna pull over in the parking lot. We're gonna jump out of the car and just go onto the beach and just like try and get lost in the crowd, because there's always fucking people there. The beach here is literally packed every day, except for the winter, of course. But we got to the beach, we jumped out of the fucking car, and we ran into the fucking crowd, and it worked. For the most part, it worked. We got there, we had like 25 minutes of being there, and we're just like, okay, this guy's nowhere to be seen. We went out to the pier. We were just kind of chilling there by the water. And we were like, all right, I think we lost him. Maybe he's just on the beach looking for us. We're all the way out on the pier. I think we're good. Keep in mind, we didn't really blend in that well because the girl that he was looking for, his daughter, was wearing socks with multicolored pot leaves on them. She literally stuck out like a fucking walking weed leaf. Like, it just wasn't hard to see her. Like, seriously, she just was a weed leaf at this point. She was a fucking walking pot leaf. And we were sitting on the pier, just staying there for as long as we could, trying to buy time so that this dude would just leave. Because we didn't know if he left by then, or if he was still on the beach looking, or even if he was coming to the pier to look for us. So we're trying to like think of shit to do. So after some time goes by, we're like, okay, there's no fucking way this guy is still on the beach looking for us, or if he's even near the beach at this point, maybe he just drove away. So we get off the fucking pier, we're on the beach, and we decide to go to the park. They had like a little playground on the beach, and we're just sitting there on the playground, and I'm sitting there on the fucking swings, and she goes, oh my god, he's calling me. And we're like, okay, well, are you gonna answer it? And she's like, no, I'm not answering it. And I was like, alright, well then ignore it and see if he texts you. So she ignores him. He doesn't text her because I don't even think he knew how to fucking text. He was a little bit older. And we just figured we were in the clear. We're like, great. He must have just went home or some shit. I think we're in the clear. We were all good. So he went back onto the beach. We found a nice spot where really no one was. We were just kind of sitting there laying in the sand, and my friends were swimming and whatever. And she literally starts smoking. She brought a fucking bowl with her originally just to smoke while we were here anyway. So she starts smoking, and I was like, are you sure you want to fucking do that? Like, what if your dad's here? And she's like, there's no way he's still here. And I was like, well, he could still be here. I mean, it's a pretty big beach. And this girl goes, stop being a fucking buzzkill. And I was like, shit, sorry. And I was like, damn, just trying to help. Meanwhile, in my head, I'm sitting there like, fuck, dude, I should have worn some nice Huff socks. I wouldn't have gotten roasted. But anyway, like halfway through her bowl, she's just smoking still, smoking the last of it. And her fucking dad shows up. I didn't know where he came from. He must have just like finally spotted us from afar and just fucking like ran up. And he runs up onto the sand and we see him and we're like, oh my god, fuck, look. And I told her, I was like, look, put the weed away. And she fucking throws her bowl in her pocket, puts the weed away, and her dad comes up like screaming her name, just like, oh, get up, get the fuck up right now. How dare you disobey me and fucking come out here with your friends? You know, I've been looking for you for like an hour. And she was like freaking out too. They were both just like yelling at each other. And he's like, who are these people? And he pointed at us. And I'm just sitting there like, oh no, don't bring me into this, please. I'm just trying to fucking sit at the beach with some friends. He's like, do you smoke? And he pointed at my friend. And my friend's like, no, I don't smoke weed, sir. I don't think it's good. And he points at me. He's like, are you smoking with her too? And I was like, no, I was just kind of sitting next to her. And he looks at her and he goes, empty your pockets. And she's like, I don't have anything. And he goes, don't fucking lie to me. Empty your pockets. And she reaches in her pocket and pulls out the weed. And he looks at all of us and he's like, which one of you lowlifes want it? And I was like, dude, this guy's a fucking savage. Like, shit. And he just throws it to my friend that doesn't even smoke, probably hasn't even smoked a day in his life, throws it to him. My friend catches it and he's like, thanks. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, come with me. And he grabbed his fucking daughter and just straight walked away with her. And that was the fucking end of it. I mean, shit, dude, I'm just glad he didn't fucking call the cops, the security or anything, because we were just kind of chilling there. It was all her, really. But I guess in the end, none of us got in trouble, except for her, obviously. And my friend got some free fucking pot. Don't really know what he ended up doing with it, though. He just kind of took it and went home with it. Probably still sitting there to this day. Who fucking knows? But yeah, guys, moral of the story is don't fucking go to the beach and publicly smoke something that's illegal. Especially in front of your dad. I don't think that's a good decision either. But this girl just didn't give a fuck. She was a straight savage. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Leave a like if you did enjoy it. And I'll be sure to ship a package of just neon colored marijuana socks out to everyone. I'm just kidding. But yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. And I'm streaming right now. So if you guys want to come to the stream, watch me fucking stream and shit like that, I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, I'll see you guys out tomorrow. Thank you for watching once again, and peace.